Hey everybody, welcome to today's show. My name is Jonathan. To my right, got two of our draft coordinators, Alec, the Doc. What's up, guys?
How we doing?
What's up, Commish?
Oh man, not much. Really excited for today's show. The first Dynasty draft's in the books. We're going to be doing a review of that draft. If you want to follow along, look down in the description. You'll see a link right to the draft. Today we're going to be doing sleeper picks for this draft. If you take a look, we've already did our quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end value picks. Today we're just looking at sleepers. So we're going to hop right into it. Whichever one of you guys have your first sleeper pick.
So I'll go first. I got Irv Smith in the 11th round, and I believe this pick was made before Kyle Rudolph was cut. But even then, it was one of those things that was rumored, all off season. So it was kind of expected to get a guy in the 11th round, though, in Irv Smith, who's got the talent that he has, and now he's going to see a much bigger role in the offense. I think that's incredible value. He's got a legit chance to push top 5 tight end this season, in my opinion. It was a lot of Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen last year. I think if Irv Smith's able to stay on the field, the talent's going to be there. Kirk Cousins is going to throw the ball to him. He's going to have a huge season. And to get that in the 11th round, really good value to me. That's a big sleeper pick.
Yeah, I agree. He's a guy I was able to pick off waivers last year.
Yeah.
I think, people got a little impatient and dropped him.
Right.
But I agree with you. I think it's his time to shine. And I also think what a great scenario to have those weapons on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to create nothing but space and opportunity for Irv Smith.
Exactly.
I think it's a great pick. I also think it's a great trade target right now in Dynasty leagues, too. The fact that he hasn't done quite a bit. You could probably get him relatively cheap. I really like that pick.
Yeah, and another thing you mentioned with the pick, you said, it happened right before the Kyle Rudolph news. That's why I love doing fantasy drafts this time of year. It's so fun, you can be a little speculative. You've got a feeling some things might shake up. So you get those guys before the news break and, can
end up getting great value. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's a great time of the year, and I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but been on the clock. You're like, what, I'm going to wait a couple hours. See if any new news comes out.
Yeah.
I've done that before.
So it's funny.
Just in case.
Yeah, the other day I was on the clock and it was right before the Dak Prescott deal, and I drafted someone over Amari Cooper right before it. Well, I think I ended up making a slight move in the draft. I got Chris Godwin instead, which I feel good about.
Right.
But at the time, had the Dak signing happened before I was pulling the trigger, I would have liked Amari Cooper.
Enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason we all love Dynasty football. And if you are looking for a new place to play, MastersFantasyFootballLeagues.com. We have over 600 Dynasty leagues. Never folded a single one. Also, right now, it's that time of the year where we start posting orphan teams. We have 7,700 franchises. So unfortunately, every year, we do have some orphan teams. Some really good teams for sale. I think it's one of the best ways to get into one of our Dynasty drafts.
Mm-hmm.
The previous owners paid your deposit, so you get in at a discount. Right at the top of the page, you'll see the orphan link. They're always posted. Just want to toss that out there to you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so one of my favorite sleeper picks and best value came 12.08 was Chase Edmonds. And, Cliff Kingsbury just came out and said, basically he'd feel comfortable and confident in Chase Edmonds being a featured bell cow back. Obviously, I don't think that will be the case. I'm sure whether it's Kenyon Drake or another free agent running back or somebody in the draft, they're going to add another running back to compete with them for sure. But just that vote of confidence in a head coach at this point in the offseason is always nice. Chase Edmonds shined that one time he had an opportunity against the Giants, had 40 fantasy points, I think. But really, the reason why it's just such good value is looking at this draft. In the 11th round, we saw names like Anthony McFarland, Keyshawn Vaughn, J.D. McKissick, who all have a shot at being fantasy relevant. But I like the upside in Chase Edmonds more than all those guys. So to get him around later, I think that's really good value. And one of my favorite kind of late round flyers this year.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the vote of confidence from his coach, I think regardless, he's going to have a role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so it makes me really like him a lot. Even if he's not the bell cow.
Completely agree. Yeah, and I think there's a much higher percent chance he delivers good value, as a just a role player, third down type receiving back, rather than being a true bell cow. But
at the very least, he's going to hit value for a guy that's a 12th round pick. I do wonder how truthful Cliff Kingsbury's being, because I feel like Chase Edmonds has been, statistically, if you go by all these advanced metrics, he's been their best running back for 3 years now. And I saw some tweet the other day, and I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Warren Sharp, but he had said, too, in 2018, I believe, Chase Edmonds was their best in a couple of some of those advanced metrics stats at running back. and Cliff Kingsbury went on to start David Johnson, and then again, even with that, Chase Edmonds was better. And then they trade for Kenyon Drake, and they draft Eno Benjamin. Just a bunch of different moves. They keep bringing in running backs. So even though Chase Edmonds is producing, they're still it seems like they're hesitant to give him that bell cow role. But either way, this could be the year where that changes.
Yeah, and you just saying that reminds me a lot of a Browns fan watching what happened with Duke Johnson unfold year after year. All of the advanced metrics were, showing how good Duke Johnson was, but just something about, whether it be his stature, durability, just the coach never felt confident, and even multiple coaches had Duke Johnson, just never really gave him that full workload. But maybe this is the year for Chase.
I thought for a second you were going to say you saw Warren Sapp.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Warren Sapp breaking down Cardinals running backs. That'd be something.
Like, what good does that do? That was funny. All right, going to jump into one of mine here. It's going to be wide receiver. He was wide receiver number 48 off the board, drafted at 9.12. He actually finished as wide receiver 32 last year, so 16 spots up there. It's going to be Corey Davis.
Yes.
And something I dove into a little bit more about Corey Davis, he did miss 2 games last year. And if you go by his points per game, if he did play those 2 games, that would take him from the 32nd to about about the 17 to 20 range at wide receiver.
Okay.
That's nice.
If you look even a little bit closer, he had 2 games that he had 0 in. I don't quite remember what happened in those games. Maybe just thinking of the targets. Maybe Derrick Henry had 400 yards and 9 touchdowns. But even if he just if he got those 14 points in that game too, it puts him up to like Keenan Allen, Justin Jefferson type numbers. And I'm not saying he's going to get those, but I'm saying the opportunity was there. That's as a number 2 on that team. And here's a guy that could possibly move on to be a number 1 somewhere. Right. If that happens, I do think that the 14 points per game is well within his reach. And if that were to happen, based off the numbers, puts him as a top 10 wide receiver next year.
Absolutely.
And when I sit here and look at it too, I actually think he's probably one of the best number 2 wide receivers in the NFL. All the talent, we can all go back to the drafts. The guy was probably number 1 in your rookie draft, if not number 2.
Yeah,
he's finally started catching fire.
Yeah.
I think the numbers are there, and I think he's a steal in drafts right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that take, and the doc knows me. We were so high on Corey Davis coming out of Western Michigan. Just was awesome at Western Michigan. Looked like would be a complete, great NFL receiver. Had some injuries early on, just couldn't quite get him in the field. Then in a run-first offense, kind of struggled to hit the fantasy relevance. But last year the numbers don't lie. Even if he just did what he did last year, he's a value. And entering free agency, his 4th, 5th year, whatever it is now, just really has an opportunity to break out and be that number 1 we all expected him to be. I'm super excited about him. I think that's great value right there. Love the pick.
Yeah, in terms of Dynasty too, if you had him, it has to be reassuring to see that when he's actually able to play, a majority of the games, he's productive. It's not like he's out there and he's like a bust as a player. The only thing that was holding him back was injury. So if he's able to stay on the field, I like him going forward, especially, they say the best ability is availability. If he's able to be available for whichever team, whether it be the Titans or whoever else, I think that's something that it's going to be huge for him, and he's just going to let the talent take over there.
Yeah, and on a side note, when I was writing this down, I was like, in my head, I was like, I don't even know what happened to them guys when he hit those zeros. And then it just dawned on me as soon as we got here about, them Derrick Henry games.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure they are, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if those matches.
Yeah, wouldn't be shocked. So I'll kind of go in with my second one then, and this one was, I believe, 13th round. I think 13.9, Rashad Penny. And I've talked about him before, but I think in this scenario, it's a sleeper in the truest sense of the word, where, Rashad Penny, we've seen him have flashes. Again, this is very similar to Corey Davis, where, when he's on the field, he looks good. It's just a matter of staying on the field. And just today, the Seahawks didn't use their tag on Chris Carson, which we kind of assumed that they would do. So the running back in Seattle, that position is wide open right now. And I think Rashad Penny might have the head start, so to speak, over some of the other guys that are there right now, just because they use such a high pick on him. And he has been talented and productive for them in the past when on the field. So I think this is his first time to prove he was worth that first-round pick. And again, getting that guy in the 13th round, if he finds a way to stay healthy for 16 games, he's going to be drafted like 10 rounds higher next year, if not more. So that's as great as you can get in terms of sleeper. At the worst, you use the 13-round pick on a guy that can't stay healthy. Oh well. At the best, you got yourself a guy who could be going as early as the 2nd round next year if he can stay healthy for 16 games.
Yeah, I love it. Not much to add. I was always high on Rashad Penny coming out, and now that Chris Carson's gone, I think he's finally going to have that chance. As long as he stays healthy, I do think it's his job to lose. Obviously, they'll probably add some competition, but I think, like you said, he's kind of got the head start to being the day one starter, and that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think Seattle is one of them teams, too, where you feel kind of confident about their running backs.
Right.
I was a little concerned when Lynch left. I mean, Carson steps right in, becomes a great fantasy asset. I think whoever it's going to be, that's going to continue to happen. You're taking a shot in the dark in the round 13.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's going to be a guy going to the 2nd round, maybe even higher next year.
Yeah, very well could be. Especially, like you said, Seattle's going to run the ball.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, I'll go with my last one here. Just real quick, I got Cole Beasley. And I'm always looking for values here when I'm doing the draft. Here's the value I found with this. He finished last year as wide receiver 21. He was drafted as wide receiver 57 in this draft. Obviously, he's 31 years old. I mean, probably he's not going to be around in 5 years. I do think for the next 2 to 3 years, as long as he's there with Josh Allen, I think you can expect another 100 targets out of him. Yeah. That's 2 years in a row. He's got 100 targets. I expect 2 more years of that. And I just think here's a guy all the way down there that late in the draft. He's a value pick, and I think he's going to help you win fantasy championships the next 2 years.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely like that. Kind of a little bit of a comparison I have is, if you were doing startup drafts 4 years ago, no one wanted a 30, 31-year-old Julian Edelman. But then, he went on to, give you another 2 really high-end seasons, and that can help you win a league in the first 2 years, and there's definitely value in that. Obviously, we're not recommending you load up on 30-plus-year-old receivers early in the Dynasty draft. But yeah, mid to late round, definitely some value in
100%.
In grabbing an older receiver like that.
Yeah, and if you look at that draft, too, there's nobody down there that was in the top 20 a wide receiver. So regardless of age, it's a great value there. And just, I feel like a lot of times name value is everything.
Yeah.
But when it comes to scoring, this guy just produced last year.
Yeah.
Just a few of the guys I wrote down that he outproduced last year: CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins, DJ Moore. All guys that are getting drafted.
Oh yeah,
6, 7, 8 rounds, and with good reason.
Yeah.
But hey, at the end of the day, it's a points game. You want to outscore your opponent. This guy's going to help you do that.
Right, especially that late in the draft too. You're getting a guy that you can plug in and play every week and expect good production. And I actually think it's not really going to drop off. It might even get better.
John Brown might be gone.
Yeah, and then teams are going to kind of really shift that focus onto Diggs. We kind of saw that in the playoffs. They said teams were willing to just not let Diggs beat them. And that's where, that connection between Allen and Beasley is going to be really nice, because it's going to be very similar to those Julian Edelman years where, he's 30, 31 years old, but, he's going to get a ton of catches, especially in those PPR leagues, which are the standard nowadays. He's going to be excellent value pick. I love it, JK.
Thank you. Hey, everybody, what's up? Yeah, we had a little technical difficulty. The battery ran out on the camera, so sorry for the quick shut off there. Just going to wrap it up real quick. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, hit the like and subscribe button. Come be a part of the Masters family. Also got some new episodes coming out. Doing a review of our first Dynasty draft of the season. Definitely want to check those out. Thanks so much for watching. And any last words, John B?
I do. We just posted a few orphans are just got posted up. If you want to go to mastersfantasyfootballleagues.com. And the oh gosh, what's the other thing? Sometimes we haven't just had the power go out. We've forgotten to put the recording device in, the SD card.
Yeah, we also did a whole episode with the lens cap on. We're learning.
And multiple times we forgot to push the record button.
Yeah, but we do appreciate you guys. I'm sure you've seen some of our growing pains. We're not going to give up, though. We're going to keep working on this. Like John said, though, we are posting orphans. That's going to be quite a bit going forward. There's 4 up today. I mean, tomorrow, who knows? Maybe it'll be 10 more. Definitely want to keep an eye out for that. Some really nice orphans going up for sale. I always say, to me, probably the best way to get into a Dynasty League. The other owner has already paid for your deposit. So
that makes it a little cheaper for you.
Makes it a little cheaper. All right, guys, that's it. Appreciate you watching. Good luck. Till next time.